Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan. I am what I would like to call like a wellness advisor. I hate the word coach. Um, I really am just like a support system advocate for people that are on like some sort of a wellness, spiritual journey, somebody who's working on their mental health or detoxing their body. That's me. I've been on this personal journey for honestly about 6 years, it seems. And I wanted to talk today about a story of mine that has to do with anxiety. I talk a lot about my anxiety and depression journey, and I was kind of just reflecting today about my journey with all of that. And I wanted to tell you guys a story about like the way that I saw my anxiety, like the worst points of my anxiety, and then how I actually got out of that place. And wanted to give you guys some, like, I don't know, some advice as far as things that have worked for me. So there was a one specific time that my anxiety got like really, really bad. And so I think it was during COVID, maybe. It was around that time. And the reason why I know that is because I was living in this specific apartment and I only lived in that apartment for 2 years. So it was like either 2019 or 2020, one of the two. And so I don't remember what exactly was going on in my life at the time. I know it probably had to do something with like my love life. Yes, for sure. Know that. And also my business. I've been an entrepreneur for like my whole career. I own a real estate company. And at this point in time, my real estate company was like struggling and my love life was struggling, which it usually is. So, anyways, I remember at this specific point in my, like in this specific day, this specific time, that I was literally could not get out of bed. Like, for the life of me. I was having like nausea. I was having like, and the nausea was because of like my anxiety. Like I felt like my legs were literally jello. Like I wasn't having an anxiety attack. I don't actually know if I've ever, maybe once or twice I've had an anxiety attack. Luckily, I have never been somebody who suffered with that. And I know a lot of people do. But for me, my anxiety was just like along with standing, like always having anxiety. And in this specific day, I remember I could not get out of bed. It was the middle of the afternoon. Like I should have been doing something productive with myself, but I was literally just in bed and I couldn't move my body. And I was trying to like tell myself, okay, I know that you just need to get up. I know if you just get out of this bed, if you get out of this room, then you will feel better. But I couldn't even, like my legs felt like jello. And I just was like freaking out about the fact that I was having that much anxiety. And so I remember when I was like in this moment, I was able to get out of bed, but I still couldn't even like get up, like stand up to go walk. And I was lying on the floor of my bedroom and I called my best friend and I was explaining to them that I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't explain to you, like I can't, like, I'm freaking out right now." And I couldn't really even put my finger on what it was I was freaking out. I just was like having anxiety, I think, about my business, about money, about my love life, about like my self value because of my love life. Like I was like really freaking out, honestly. And because I was freaking out about those things, I was freaking out and causing myself to have anxiety. And because my anxiety was so bad, I was having more anxiety about having anxiety. And those of you that have anxiety, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have anxiety, having anxiety causes you to have more anxiety because you're like beating yourself up about it. And so anyways, in this specific moment, I like was struggling to get out of bed for hours. I finally got out of bed and I was on the floor and I was laying on my back on the floor and I was just on the phone with my best friend and I just was like crying and explaining to them like, "Oh my God, like I wish I would, like I don't understand why I feel like this." I was trying to explain to them. They didn't know what to tell. They didn't know what to tell me to do. And I just kept telling myself, okay, if you'll just get out of this room, if you get out off of the floor, you will feel better. And somehow, by the grace of God, I was able to stand up and get myself out of the apartment. It was almost as if I like threw my body out of my apartment, and I found myself on the ground. Like I found myself with my feet on the ground, and I was outside. And luckily that specific day, it was beautiful outside. The temperature was like really great. It wasn't like it was cold or rainy. Like it was like a warm, sunny day. And as soon as I got outside, I was just like blown away. I'm like, oh my God. I literally was like trapped what felt like in this box in like a jail cell of my bedroom. And I immediately felt better as soon as I got outside. And so as I started to walk down the street, I'm still on the phone with my best friend, and I'm like calming down. And it occurred to me at that point in time that I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm like, I realized that I was causing my anxiety. Like my anxiety was actually a result of like my circumstances, maybe like my environment. And also it was a result of like my headspace, like things I was telling myself. And so I had realized that the more that I was hyper focusing on like my body, like, oh my God, my legs feel like jello. Oh my God, I feel like my stomach is nauseous. Like the more I was like focusing on like the parts of my body that the anxiety was showing up, and the more that I was like refusing to get outside of that box, my room, because I was freaking out, it was like I was making my anxiety worse. And so as soon as I was able to like pull myself out of bed, then I made it onto the floor. And then as soon as I was on the floor, I eventually made it outside of the apartment and got the sun on my body, got like fresh air in my lungs, and I calmed down. And during this specific time in my life, I developed kidney stones. And I'm somebody who, for the most part, has always like eaten pretty clean. Like I never have been somebody who like eats a lot of sugar or drinks a lot of like sodas or something. Like any of the stuff that causes kidney stones. I've gotten kidney stones twice in my life, and one of them was right around that time. It actually might have been within that same week. I'm pretty sure it was within that same week I like developed kidney stones. And the other time I got kidney stones was when I was a teenager and I found out about my diagnosis with my eyes. So the two times that I have developed kidney stones in my life were directly correlated with extremely stressful, anxiety-driven times of my life. And so I am hyper aware now that when I'm in those spaces of being like having so much anxiety, I know now how important it is to do like the rituals, to do the tasks that I have found have been helpful for me in order to get my mind and my anxiety under control, because I know that it's going to show up physically for me in kidney stones or in having visual issues or having stomach issues. Like I have seen the patterns of that. And so I wanted to tell you guys a story. I wanted to be honest about how real my anxiety has been in my life. This was just one story of like my anxiety, how it like festered and manifested into like me honestly not even being able to walk, me developing kidney stones. And I wanted to tell you guys like where I'm at right now. If I feel myself developing, like if I feel myself like getting anxious, which let me tell you guys the truth, like everybody gets some form of anxiety at some point in time, and it all shows up differently. But if you have been diagnosed as having anxiety, or if you feel like you have heavy anxiety, the first thing you need to understand is that everybody experiences that type of emotion in some form or fashion. It's natural. It's normal. It's not a bad thing. And to my understanding, like when we have anxiety, it's actually good. It like is our body's way of notifying us of something like, hey, this is triggering for you, or hey, you need to look into this certain thing. And so the first thing that I want to invite you guys or task you guys to like do when anxiety is starting to really boil up for you is first understand that it's not bad that you have anxiety. It's not like you're not a bad person. You're not broken. It's not bad that you have anxiety. The second thing that I invite you guys to do is literally pull out a journal and just start dumping into that journal. The same way that like I had to call my friend when I was like lying on the floor, like now instead of me calling somebody, I dump it into a journal. That way I have no remorse about like how I acted or that I was like freaking out and crying in front of somebody, or I don't have any remorse about emotionally dumping on somebody. I literally pour it into a journal and I just write anything that comes to my mind. Like anything. I don't have journal prompts. I know a lot of people ask me about like, well, I don't know what to write. Write anything that comes to your mind, literally. And that's the first thing that I do. Or that's the second thing that I do after I decide and understand in my mind that the anxiety is not bad. Then I emotionally dump into a journal about everything that's in my mind. Literally, it could be the flowers are pink. It could be, oh my God, I don't have money in my bank account. It could be, oh my gosh, I have to go to a birthday party next week and I don't know what to wear. It could literally, every sentence could be something totally off subject, but I emotionally dump into a journal and then I find my way outside. And if I can't get outside, I find my way to move my body in a different space than what I'm in currently. If I'm sitting in my living room and I am kind of freaking out, I will go outside or I will maybe go walk upstairs to like the rooftop at my building. I do something to get out of the space that I'm currently in, and it allows me to move my body and it allows me to have a different change of scenery, and I immediately start feeling some sort of relief. And I know that a lot of people feel like that they have tried these strategies, but I want to invite you guys, like, these few strategies of just like accepting, giving yourself grace for having anxiety, emotionally dumping into a journal, and then changing your scenery, getting outside of the space that you're in and moving your body. I promise you, doing these things whenever you're feeling an anxiety like coming on, it is going to dramatically change your experience. And you have to do this as like a practice. You can't just say, oh, I'm having anxiety issues right now, so I'm just like gonna try these things. No, they didn't work that time. Like, this is a practice. It's a journey to try to better understand your body, better understand your mind, and be able to really work with it and not work against it. And when we have anxiety, when we have depression, we're really working against ourselves emotionally, mentally, instead of like working with it. So these are just ways that I have found have helped me get a hold of my headspace whenever I'm feeling a lot of anxiety. Even when I'm feeling depression, I really just do these 4 things. Now, there's obviously other things that we'll talk about. Like, I was taught breathing exercises and therapy, which I'm going to show you guys in later videos. But these 4 things I just mentioned, I did those things whenever I was having that anxiety attack, anxiety issue that I was just speaking about earlier in this video. And that was kind of like the first moment that I kind of realized, like, oh, I have control over the way that I'm feeling. I just need to better understand how to work with it. So I want to know in the comments below, what do you guys do when you're feeling anxiety coming on? Do you have any like strategies that you like make sure that you do in order to help you feel even a little bit better? Not to say that it cured anything, but do you have anything that you do that helps you feel a little bit better? I want to know in the comments below. And please maybe share this video with somebody that you know struggles with anxiety, or maybe share it with somebody like to let them know that they're not alone with having anxiety. And please subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be sharing a lot more about my health and wellness journey, whether it be detoxing or eating certain foods, juicing, mental health, like strategies, breathing exercises, yoga, stuff that I have been doing in order to help get my mental health, depression, anxiety. Those things were labeled for me by several therapists over my lifetime, and I want to share with you guys stuff that I do that is natural and or free, that's not like traditional talk therapy, and that's not pharmaceuticals, because those things cost money. So I want to be sharing more free strategies that I have done to work with myself. So I'll see you on the next video.